Hello, GM. Welcome, everybody.
GM.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Chris.
All right. People will start rolling in here. We'll just do the regular disclaimers for all of our live streams. Nothing that we say today is is not financial advice. So please don't construe anything that we say as financial advice. We're just kind of talking here and giving our own personal opinions on things. So, and as always, with these super chats, we do them live. Get into the live comments, comment stuff. If you have any live questions, we're happy to get into what we can. We've got a little bit of an agenda, but happy to answer questions if they come up. So yeah, feel free to get into the comments there. So I've got my regular co-host Chris. Welcome, GM.
GM guys.
We've got a special guest here. Our founder David is on. So welcome, David.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So yeah, just off the front here, I'm just going to get into a little bit of a live demo here now that the Superseed app has officially launched. I'm going to show those for those who haven't seen it yet. I want to go through just a little bit of a demo, a little bit of a introduction to what we're doing, what we're building, what's coming, and then we'll get into some questions. We'll get into some predictions, lots of fun stuff. So yeah, first things first. So for those that haven't seen it, I've got it up on the screen here already. This is the new Superseed app, just launched. So this is our official strategy marketplace. As you can see, this is just the first phase of the launch of the new Superseed app. So basically, like what we have here is just a nice, clean, very clean, simple interface. It just produces every single strategy that we have. We've got 13 listed strategies, and those that aren't aware, this is on the Ethereum network. This is live today, and our specialty, what this is kind of purpose built for, is the stablecoin industry. So we've got all stablecoin strategies up front, and you can see here all of them live. 13 different strategies, nice clean interface. You can get APYs up to, I believe the highest one we have on there right now is around 7%. Yeah, from Fluid. And the nice thing about this is it just aggregates everything together. So you've got strategies from Aave, you've got Athena, you've got Fluid, you've got Maple, Morpho. Everything's aggregated together all in one platform. So just one simple hub for everything to do with stable coins. So that's the nice thing about this marketplace. But again, like I said, this is just the first phase. And another nice thing about this is everything has very, very detailed reports, audit trails, so you can kind of be rest assured that like we're only listing strategies that have like very in-depth reporting and in-depth audit trails. So you're getting kind of like the highest quality strategies around DeFi. So for Maple Syrup USDC, this is a very popular one. This one's got over 3 billion in TVL. Around 5% APY currently. You can go through, you can see the details of like what the history of the APY is. Obviously, it's like supply and demand. The more supply that goes up, the APY drops a little bit. But this is where you can also find opportunities. And then you can go through and you get like very detailed risk reporting here. So you've got the staking rewards report that gives its risk rating, gives its key strengths, risks. And you've got the year detailed report here also that outlines all the risk. And we give you this deep breakdown as well as audits that you can go through and view each one separately. So you've got all the risk transparency, everything right at your fingertips, which is super cool. And you've got everything that you need for stable coins all in one place, basically. And then just to give you a little bit more insight about like where this is all headed. So this is phase one, like we talked about. This is the strategies marketplace, and so right now it's basically like your one-stop hub for everything stablecoins on Ethereum. But this is just phase one. The money market is coming soon, and then also suprUSD coming soon. And this is where things like get really interesting for the app and for us as a protocol, as a strategies protocol. Once we implement this money market, this is when things start to get like really customizable. So like if Aave or Fluid or Athena, maybe you've got some complex strategies in here that take multi-hops, and maybe there's like one part of the hop or two parts of the hop that like our supermarket, our money market has better liquidity, better availability. We can kind of customize a little bit and input this here and take out this here. That's where things get very interesting. We can start customizing strategies a lot more. And then one that I'm very much excited about is the suprUSD, which is also coming soon. This is a strategy in itself, as it is like a diversified yield-bearing rebasing stablecoin, and with stablecoins underlying it. So basically, you can one-to-one redeem against the underlying stablecoins. So at any time, you can redeem your suprUSD for, say, like USDC at one-to-one, which is interesting. But then it's also yield bearing in itself, and we can use this to make even more complex or fun strategies within the strategy marketplace. So imagine like minting suprUSD and then or using that to deposit and borrow against, and then we can design like more complex like looping and different strategies like that. So yeah, a lot more coming. The strategy marketplace is just phase one. So yeah, exciting times ahead. How are you feeling, David? Like, how are you feeling about the launch? What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think for us it was important to basically figure out an order of launch for the money market, and I think we have chosen to go with becoming a strategy marketplace for stablecoins and yield-bearing stablecoins, and then add our own money market protocol as being part of the list of protocols you can interact with. I think it's the better way to go, because it allows us to see exactly where the demand is. We can better see which stable coins are more like the risks that are associated with each stable coin, the risks that are associated with integrating with other protocols, because I think these days, I think we've seen that a lot this year. There's no such thing as like a completely let's call it a protocol that doesn't touch that won't touch any other protocol, right? So because of composability, you are going to be whether you like it or not, playing with other protocols as well, and seeing like over a longer time period what those connections are, what those vulnerabilities are, for example, is very important. And basically, if you look at the app and if you go into some of the details there, you'll see a lot of details, like which smart contracts are involved, what they do, some risk parameters that we incorporate from other protocols or other risk assessors, so to speak. And I think this is a solid foundation to build upon, and that's why we decided to launch strategies first, and then add our own money market as being one of those protocols you can have strategies for. And we have learned quite a bit in the last, let's call it 6 to 8 months, ever since like a lot has changed in DeFi, because of, yeah, we have seen that every every vulnerability becomes legible right now because of AI, right? A lot of things are changing very, very fast. And yeah, the more visibility into your dependencies, the better. And we did learn a lot as well as a team about risks that we might not have considered in the past. And this is why we decided to go with strategies and then money market and so on. I hope people play with the app, test it out, let us know what they like, what they don't like. We plan to add more strategies every week to have a bit of a cadence here where there's a constant flow of new strategies and eventually multiple strategies that involve our own money market.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be able to see right here on the side where it says Protocol, Aave, Athena, Fluid, Maple. Once the money market rolls out, you'll also see like Supermarket, which is going to be our money market, and then it'll get like a lot more customizable as we talked about. So yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, with all the stuff happening in DeFi, all the hacks, all that sort of stuff, it definitely taught us a lot, like you mentioned. And yeah, helped us in our listing process of like, okay, like what is our criteria going to be for listing? What kind of, and we determined that like, hey, like you need to have like very good risk reporting, very good transparency into, so people aren't just depositing into these like black holes. So yeah, I think that's a very cool differentiator of ours, and a lot of exciting times ahead. How about you, Chris? Have you had a chance to play around with the app at all? What do you like about it?
Of course, have to. I do like that it's very intuitive. It is very clean interface from a user perspective. It's also not super convoluted as a lot of DeFi apps are currently. We only have 13 strategies, and we're going to add more, but 13 strategies is a nice entry point for people who are just interested in stablecoins, and they don't need to know 100 different protocols, 100 different incentive campaigns, 100 different like weird like loop strategies that they have to do. They just go to the app, they see, okay, this gives me this amount of APY, this has this rating, and it interacts with this protocol. Let me try it, and they go through the process. So I think that it's a nice little entry for people who are also just getting into stablecoin investing, stablecoin yield investing. And of course, we give them as much clarity as possible around the strategy, the audits, the pools that we're interacting with.
Yeah, and I'm very much looking forward to like now the foundation is in place. We've got the app, we've got the strategies, we've got this whole layout. So now we just like input these different building blocks into it, like the suprUSD token, like the money market in the back end. And once things start to get super customizable, and people will be able to like really see how Superseed kind of stands out at that point. So very, very exciting. One question that came up from the community, which I'll lean on David here a bit, is I want to get into the super token. How does the super token play into all this? What plans do we have for the super token? Are we planning to like integrate it into the money market? What do we have plans for that?
Yeah, so regarding the super token, there are some changes that will happen in the coming weeks, months. I won't get too much into details about that, but I think I can say some of the things that we like and some of the things we don't like when it comes to like the use case of the token. Although it seems to be something that in a bear market people tend to like just buying tokens and burning them, like the buyback and burn mechanism. This is not necessarily the best in my opinion. I think many agree with that. The best use of capital, because it's mostly a one-time thing. It doesn't provide long-term value. I think something that I increasingly like is potentially something more like buyback NLP, right? Like building a stronger liquidity position for the token as, in my opinion, much longer term potential than simply buying tokens and burning them. So yeah, we are looking into things like that. Basically, all the products, whether it's just the strategies or the money market, these are revenue generating products, and in a sense, like every protocol has to decide what happens to the revenue. And as mentioned, like there are things we like and things we like less. Eventually, the long-term vision is that of super collateral, where like all the fees go in the direction of repaying loans. But yeah, until then, there's still the question of what to do with revenue once you have revenue. And I think what I like, what others are thinking is more of a long-term solution is buyback and LP rather than buyback and burn. So something along those lines. That's how we think about the utility, so to speak, of the token. And yeah, there are other changes as well that we are working on, but that's about it in terms of what we can share.
That's all we can share at this moment.
Currently, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I know there's a lot of plans in the works in the back end. Excited to share more about those plans in the hopefully near future. But yeah, no, I think that's a key point that you made about everything that we're building right now is revenue generating, and I think that's the key point, is that like you see the success of like these other token models like Aerodrome and Hyperliquid, and they do these buybacks and whatever they want to do with the revenue. But the key point is that like first you need like quality products that generate revenue, and that's what we're building towards. I think that's step one. Without that, like everything else is kind of useless. So yeah, that's where our focus is at the moment, is like creating these like very strong product market fit products that are revenue generating, and then it's a good problem to have after that, where to direct that revenue. And the key thing is that we have the same kind of mentality that like, hey, we're kind of a community driven project where like we believe in like sending these revenues back to the ecosystem. So however that ends up being the best mechanism for that, that's yet to be decided. But yeah, I think that's the key. So yeah, cool. Very excited. Did you have anything to add there, David?
No, I agree, and actually, I think the buyback and burn model only works during downturns, right, where there's no other buyer. But it doesn't really work in crypto that much, apart from Hyperliquid. I guess there are no other huge success stories of the buyback and burn mechanism.
Yeah, I think there's 99.
And I think with
failed.
Yeah.
Sorry,
even with Hyperliquid, it's basically the story is that they are a very successful protocol, more than flows.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think things will change in traditional markets. Usually, it's not a hugely good sign if a company decides to do share buybacks rather than invest in their business or do something else.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's unique to crypto.
During downturns, right?
In downturns.
Because we've been through times like this in the past, and
Yeah, it's a great point. And yeah, like the key point, like you said, is that Hyperliquid has a very successful protocol. They have a strong product with product market fit that generates revenue, or else they wouldn't be able to do that. And there's 99 other examples of projects that have tried to do buyback and burns that you've never heard about because it just wasn't successful. That's not the thing that's going to make the project successful. It's the product that generates the revenue. So yeah, completely agree on that front. But yeah, if for anyone that's new to Superseed, trying out the app, definitely go check out the app, try it out. And then yeah, you can also get access to the Super token, which we have live today, and it's available across Aerodrome, Velodrome, and Uniswap. So yeah, check it out. And so yeah, just to summarize, this is a good summary for anyone that wants to go check it out. We recently published this article, Superseed the Strategies Protocol. This is our new framing, and yeah, this article kind of outlines everything very well. Goes through kind of what the app is all about, our key differentiators, what's coming with the roadmap. Also, as David kind of alluded to there, the roadmap goes even deeper than what we just talked about today. Not just the strategy marketplace, not just the market, the money market and suprUSD. Eventually, it all leads up to the Super CDP with self-repaying loans. And so, yeah, definitely go check this out. Check out our long-term vision. It's very cool, and it's something that we're working towards. And yeah, we're just getting started with this new app launch. So, yeah, go check out this article for sure. One other subject that I wanted to get to, which I know a lot of people in the community have asked about also, is our Superseed side quests. We've talked about this in the past with Chris and I on our other live streams, and we've given you guys a little bit of a hint and told you to go follow this Lobster Build account. This is a working title, but the account is going to remain, so definitely go check it out. The name may change, but the account is going to start to build up, and we're going to start to produce content there soon. But yeah, I would love to kind of discuss this a little bit more. So basically, just as a rough summary, so Superseed the app is our core product. That is the main thing that we're working on. But we also have this Superseed side quest that's working in the background that we're developing. The working title was Lobster's Build. This title may change, but the rough summary is that it's in the AI agent kind of AI field. And yeah, maybe David, you can give us a little bit more insight into what we're doing there.
Yeah, I think initially it started as a side quest, but over time we realized that there's even more potential there than just as a minor side quest that lives and dies for like a short amount of time. I think the way to envision it is that we now have a completely different type of creator online, which is the person that is like, I'm one of them, right? Someone who will spend a lot of their free time using tools like Cloud Code or Codex or whatever new is coming. And like, personally, I've become obsessed about this, and I spend a lot of my time, a lot of my free time, sometimes way more than I should, just playing with these tools and building stuff. And crypto, I think, doesn't really have a product right now for people like me. And there are many. There are many and growing fast, right? So we know Codex has at least 5 million weekly active users. Cloud Code probably twice as many, if not more. And they're growing really, really fast. We have people who do all of that. But there's, for some reason, there's not yet a good platform that, in a sense, aggregates all the work that people are doing with these tools, right? So you might use GitHub because why not? You have to use some version of that if you're building, or you might use X to talk about what you're building, or you might use I know, a bunch of other platforms to talk to your customers or whatever community that you have. And the way to think about codename Lobster Spilled is that this is a product for people like that, right? So if you are one of those obsessed people who just wants to build all the time and is AGI build and cannot think about anything else, like there's a new platform coming for you, and it's designed by people who think like you to offer you a great experience. And it doesn't exist, right? Like it doesn't exist in crypto. It doesn't exist outside of crypto. It's more like you use this and you use that, you use that, but like they're not really a unified thing. So yeah, this is what Lobster's build will be. So it will have a different name. That was the initial name. So yeah, this is something I'm really excited about, and basically cannot wait for it to go live, because I need that to go live. So yeah, this is in short a broad like image of what it is. Like we're aggregating a bunch of stuff that people who are token maxers are using these days.
Absolutely. I think that's a good summary and more detail than we've released publicly before. So yeah, I think that should get people very excited. For those that don't know, David is like deep down the rabbit hole of AI. He's one of the most advanced users of AI that I know. I mean, Chris is up there too. I dabble with it a little bit. So yeah, like this is definitely going to be a product that like is built because it's personal use of people that are actually doing it, like David. It's so we know that it's useful, and we're excited to get it out to many people because yeah, like you said, everything's kind of like very spread out across there. There's people talking about like different stuff on X. You can kind of see their PRs on GitHub, but you don't really see like, oh, okay, here's Chris. Like what are the systems? Is he using a Hermes agent? Is he using an OpenClaw agent? Like what models is he using? Like it would be nice to like aggregate all that information in one place and give these people, like these creators, like a central hub essentially. So yeah, I'm very excited for this also. And yeah, excited to start like really putting out some content around this. So make sure you follow David's personal X account, follow my account, follow Chris, and follow this new Lobster Build account. The name may change soon, but we're going to be putting out a lot more AI content. So make sure you follow us all, and expect to see like a lot more like live streaming and AI content from that. And then follow, of course, the Superseed account for the DeFi and stablecoin and money market related content there. So yeah, we've got all the bases covered. We understand that like David mentioned, like this is kind of two completely separate audiences. One is like very into like the token maxing and AI, that sort of stuff, and one is like DeFi and capital markets and that sort of stuff. So completely opposite audiences that deserve completely opposite or different communication channels. So yeah, make sure you follow us, and we'll be putting out different content around these different angles. So yeah, exciting times ahead. All right, that kind of wraps up the. Well, actually, I want to get Chris's input on this also. Like, I know you've got a little bit of behind the scenes, like look at what we're building with this new platform, and you're deep down the rabbit hole of AI also. What are you excited about? Are you going to be a heavy user of this new platform?
Yeah, absolutely. And as a heavy user working internally, it's nice to kind of shape the direction a little bit that it's going to take, because it is like it is kind of a new activity that people are doing that just hasn't had enough um things built for it, it feels like, you know what I mean? Any new kind of activity, whether it's a hobby, a sport, a business, whatever, it tends to, in the real world, you have a lot of things that you can go to kind of compare how people are doing, how to get better, how to, you know, showcase your work, maybe how to maybe monetize. In the AI world, all this is just very, very new still. All this is very in the works, and I feel like if we're able to really successfully execute this platform, it's going to be a great place for people who are into this sort of stuff, into vibe coding, into building with AI tools. It's going to be a great place for them to just exist, and you know, they're going to want to be here. And you know, with that vision in mind, it's been interesting to kind of see the direction that we're taking it, and then also add to that as a power user, knowing what I want to see. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, super excited to use the platform myself and start following what you and David are actually like using, because then I can get some better insights into what I should be using, because you guys are pros. This kind of
learning stuff every day, right? It's a very fast moving field, and basically even that is something that we want to make easier, right? For people to be closer to the frontier when it comes to like best workflows. Like I learn stuff every day, things that were useful a month ago aren't useful anymore because the field is just changing all the time. So from that perspective, building a community around that is where we share some of the best practices, and the knowledge is also super important. Yeah, I definitely learn a lot from others, and I guess others can learn from me and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And it's so fast moving that, and with platforms like X, I love X, and you see like all the fastest moving stuff and all the latest stuff on X. But also, like if it's more than 24 hours or 48 hours old, it's completely lost forever on X. So yeah, it's very hard to like actually aggregate this data and put it all together. You have to like go to so many different platforms if you want to learn like what someone's like workflow and stack is. So yeah, I think we've got like a pretty cool product and fit here. So yeah, excited to get that out there. And this kind of transitions pretty well. That kind of wraps up everything that we're doing on the Superseed front for those that were tuning in for that. But I did want to get kind of David and Chris your guys' opinions on a few things. We don't get David's thoughts out on video very often, so I want to kind of get take this opportunity. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on with Anthropic and the whole Fable incident that happened. For those that have been following along, I'm sure you've seen on X, like they released this Mythos type model called Fable 5, and then I think within like a few days it was banned by the U.S. government, and they had to basically pull the model and stop giving people access to it. So very interesting. And kind of, I guess where I'm going with this is like, do you think that this is potentially a sign, along with like also the fact that Anthropic and OpenAI are going to be IPOing here soon? Do you think that this is maybe like a sign that maybe we've hit kind of peak AI for the short term, and maybe there's a little bit of a sideways or downturn here in AI, or as some people say, like a bubble? Or do you think that we're just full steam ahead and there's still just a lot more to come? What are your thoughts on that, David?
Yeah, my thoughts are, as a Twitter commentator from OpenAI likes to say, so many people are not prepared for the scenario where this is not a bubble, right? I am a fully AGI build. For me, it's not like it's often, I mean, it's always hard to predict what the markets will be doing, but I don't think it's that hard to predict that AI will continue to become a lot more capable, and I want to be prepared for that scenario more than maybe asset prices will go down for a while. Sure, they sometimes do, but yeah, I'm not that concerned about that. Now, of course, yeah, markets are almost always. I mean, you can think of markets as being always right or markets being always wrong because they always change their mind. So maybe they're always wrong. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm not super concerned about capabilities not advancing. I am a bit concerned about something else, which is access to the latest or the best models for everyone, or like we might see a future where I think it's very likely that you will need to KYC, and depending on which country you're from and stuff like that, you might or might not get access to certain models. You might not get access to models that are very powerful if you're not an enterprise with an enterprise contract. This is also very concerning to me. This is what happened to Mythos first, right? Only a very small amount of large companies got access to it for a few months, and as soon as the rest of us got access to it, like disappeared after very few days, which was very upsetting, right? Because it took like maybe 2 days for me to properly use it, but once I got a hold of how to use it well, I was really impressed. So I was doing usually the way I work with various models. Now it depends on the model, but for Fable 5, I was doing an optimization on a project where I wanted the performance to increase by a lot, and the way it worked, and I was really amazed about the performance improvements for that specific project. Basically, I told it to learn best practices from the official documentation, create a prompt based on where the project is at the current stage, read through the project, target some of the areas where things aren't optimized as they should be, and it created like a very well-designed prompt that I used, and then I really got some very huge optimizations, and I was amazed because you don't really see that with like Opus models or not even GPT 5.5, how well it actually worked with Fable 5. It also one-shots things way better. So if you want to build like a website, it's just going to build it in one shot, and it's going to be like great. You don't really need to iterate as much. So it did that very well. But yeah, and then suddenly I lost access. I was really upset about that. And now I think a lot of people didn't just feel like, man, I'm losing access to the best model. It's like it almost makes you feel like you're losing your time working with inferior models, because you know that the same action you might want or same feature would be built much faster with Fable 5 than whatever Opus 4.8.
With less bugs and better performance.
Yeah. You don't have to keep iterating, right? Back and forth, which can be annoying sometimes, right? If you have to keep going like that. So yeah. And this is a risk that I see, right? That we might move to a world where There's simply some people get access to the best models and just run ahead of everyone else, and then we have the so-called permanent underclass that has to work with much worse models, and you won't be able to keep up. So this is a risk I see. I am concerned about that. Hopefully it's not the world where we end up, but yeah, if it is, it's gonna be not very fun. So yeah, hopefully
it's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Yeah, like it's been a while since we've had like a big step change in like the benchmarks like we got with this Fable 5 or Mythos. Like I was personally very surprised when I seen the benchmarks when Fable 5 came out. I couldn't believe like how much it really went up. It's been a while since we've had that big of a jump. And then yeah, like you said, it's kind of very demotivating to all of a sudden have that taken away from you. One thing that I've seen is that now there's like I can't remember what it's called, this GLM. There's some new like kind of frontier open source models that seem to be like somewhere in the range of like 6 to 8 months behind like the big frontier models. So do you think like maybe in like 6 to 8 months we might get Mythos style on open source, and do you think maybe that's the future?
I mean, yeah, we might get Mythos level models in 6 to 8 months, but by that time, the frontier will be maybe way further ahead, and like you still need to have the best models if you're competing in the marketplace, right? Because you're competing with others. Increasingly, it becomes less and less important. Like it used to be all about being a really good prompt engineer, right? And writing very detailed prompts. Nowadays, you can just ask the AI to write the detailed prompts for you. Like you tell it what you want, creates the prompt, you maybe edit here and there, but then like you get a much better prompt that way. And yeah, the smarter the model, the better it is at doing whatever you want it to do. So yeah, I do need access to the latest models. I don't care about like models 8 months. Like that will be at the frontier 8 months from now.
It's true. Yeah. Hopefully one of these frontier agencies like doesn't just run away with it either. Hopefully there's competition, and yeah, hopefully I'm hoping that like OpenAI comes out with a big step change, like a Mythos style model here pretty soon also. But yeah, I've never heard the kind of permanent underclass described in that way. Usually people say like the permanent underclass financially, but yeah, it's true. Like if you don't have access to the latest models and other people do, that's another form of permanent underclass. So yeah, it's a great point. Chris, how about you? What's your experience? Did you get to try out Fable 5? Where are you at with all that?
A little bit, yeah. I will say it was interesting. It seemed like the one-shot capabilities for sure were way crazier. I didn't get to test it as much as I would have liked, but you did see people working on much bigger projects and doing them very quickly. So like 1 billion personal games came out on GitHub immediately after Fable dropped, which is another thing that I'm sure so many people have been trying to do but couldn't, just because it took too much time or the model wasn't smart enough to figure out all these things. So it is nice to see the models getting better at new things, much better. I think that's one thing that you do care about. One thing I've been like working on a lot has been like videos and like animations and kind of media. And a lot of the time these models are marketed towards, hey, we're much better at coding, or we're much better at like, technical things than we were before, or security. But a lot of the thing that people will really interact with them will be through media and content and like the social consciousness. And it seems like the models have gotten absurdly good at stuff like this, to where even me as a non-professional video editor, non-professional like animator, visual designer, I can reach that level pretty easily and create stuff at a very, very fast pace. I think that's kind of crazy, and not with much training, not with much practice either. So I don't know, you just kind of have to test things to get a sense of how crazy the progress has been and how many new things you can actually start to do.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
very
I mean,
democratizing technology. Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
For sure. And then also on the point of like frontier models, I kind of don't expect frontier models to just be always available to the public. You know, I don't know for how much longer that's probably gonna be the case. I would also expect the open source models that are the best to kind of come out of the frontier labs. I feel like maybe that hasn't been happening as much. Um, at least the very best open source models, but we'll see. We'll see how that changes. I'm sure that's gonna be, you know, the most important thing, for the public at some point, as, you know, demand and as availability for the state-of-the-art models kind of decreases generally. So,
Yeah, I mean, that kind of leads me into my next point is like, where is this all headed? What does the world look like in 5 years? Like, we see like stuff like Coinbase had their big announcements yesterday or the day before. Now they introduced this new thing called the Coinbase Advisor, where it's completely AI powered, like basically getting rid of traditional financial advisors. And like basically I see a future, at least in my personal opinion, in the next 5 years where everything is just through AI, and this kind of ties it all back together. Like the user experience, everything is done through AI. You're just talking with your AI, and it's doing all of your transacting for you and everything like that. And I know that these are things that we're thinking about, especially like with our Superseed app, like how agents can directly just talk to the app without humans having to like go through, or agents going through and clicking buttons and stuff like that. Um, so I think these are things that everyone's going to have to think about. But yeah, I'd love to kind of pick your brain, David, about like where do you think this all goes in the next 5 years? Like, is AI the new user experience, and how does that kind of like tie back together with like crypto and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think like maybe 2 weeks ago we had Cloudflare CEO saying that a flippening has happened where most of the internet traffic now is AI, so it's bots and AI and stuff like that versus humans, and it happened much faster than he thought. And I believe this will happen to blockchains as well, much faster than people think. We're not there yet, mostly because I think it's not as easy for agents to do something useful right now on chain as it is for them to do something online that's useful, right? So it doesn't make much sense to do stuff on chain currently, but this is changing quite fast. There are protocols that are making it easier for agents to interact with the chain. And I think it will also happen very fast. And then it will go from 50% to 70% to 90% and so forth. And eventually you'll just talk to your agent and your agent will do stuff for you on chain, optimize for you on chain, whether it's yield farming or even like trading. Yeah, you'll talk to your agent first before going into a trade, and I don't know, maybe your agent will tell you the best strategy and execute it for you. Like it will sell when it has to sell and buy when it has to buy, instead of like you might end up trusting it more than you trust your own emotions about buying and selling and whatever. You just discuss it with your agent, and the agent decides or like implements the best strategy. I think this will happen quite soon. I think what Coinbase is doing there is a step in that direction, right? Getting people comfortable with the idea of giving money to AI, but I think a lot of people would do way better by listening to like a specialized AI agent than trading based on their own like emotions. I know for sure that I would do much better than being like trading based on random stuff I read online. And it will happen. And once that happens, like once that flippening happens, there's no going back. So I expect in terms of crypto, and this will happen far sooner than 5 years. Like might even happen this year. You just need one good version of an agent that can trade on chain or do stuff on chain that you can interact with easily, and that's it, right? Maybe it takes a year, but it can definitely also happen by the end of this year. And after that, it's just gonna be agents versus agents mostly, right? And
yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, it's something that every single protocol and project is going to have to think about now is like your primary customer is no longer a human. It's going to be AI agents. So I know it's something that we're thinking about and developing on. So, but yeah, no, exciting times. How about you, Chris? Like, where do you think this is all going? What do you think the world looks like? Do you think everyone has like an open AI, or sorry, an open source like AI on their device, and that's just the UI UX for everything, or what do you think?
Yeah. Well, that would be the ideal world, that would be the the most, like, reasonable world, I would assume, but I think as these things get bigger, you're gonna start to feel the social friction a little bit against AI tools more. Realistically, um, AI probably can integrate into a lot more systems that we have socially a lot faster than it will be able to. So you might reach a state in a few years where there's like big differences in the capabilities of people who have adopted AI and people who are kind of very, very reticent, scared, opposed. And it's going to become like a kind of a big, maybe political situation where people are trying to get AI into different institutions. People are very against it, or, you know, don't really know how to do it. So they're just kind of scared. Ultimately, as like an AI user, you benefit from being in the markets, so long as you can still use it. So, you might just see a lot of rich AI people, who are they're progressing the industry. They're at the frontier. They're figuring out how to use it in the best way. And then, maybe most companies will have to or will want to, but it just depends on what they're allowed to do, what is being regulated, what isn't being regulated. Um, so I would expect I'm optimistic on that side, but it remains to be seen how big the social friction actually will be,
Yeah.
against these things. So I'm curious to know more about that.
It's a good point. Yeah, like I would say crypto and AI has like a massive PR problem right now. I think the sentiment towards crypto and AI is like in the public sphere at least. Like we're pretty deep into the rabbit hole, so we hear like a lot of like positive, optimistic takes on it. But I think like the general audience, like especially on like college campuses and stuff like that, it's pretty bad. Like as far as like a PR thing, a lot of people are scared of AI. And don't like crypto too much. And I think more and more these things go hand in hand. And I think that yeah, we need more voices that are showing like the positivity, like the good things that can come out of it. Because definitely you don't want to be left behind. Like this is the next frontier, and if you're not using the technology right now, you are going to be left behind a little bit. So it's a little bit disheartening to see like the younger generation kind of like throwing this technology to the side and having a bad sentiment towards it. So yeah, hopefully we can do our part in helping be a positive PR for this technology and bringing more people on board. Any final thoughts there, David?
Yeah, interesting. I did see some of that happening. There were videos from a few of the comments and speeches by like titans of the industry, so to speak. Like Eric Schmidt had one, Sundar Pichai from the CEO of Google had one. Like people either booed or left.
Yeah,
it is like that. I assume negativity will continue to grow, but there will also be a lot more optimistic people as well. I think partially people are negative towards AI because they have a fear of job loss currently. Now there are multiple scenarios. I do believe there's a plausible scenario where it leads to a lot more jobs. Like AI leads to a lot more jobs. It's a complicated argument. It's not intuitive, but one way to make it more legible would be to think of it as there will be new industries that are being created because of AI, because AI helps with discoveries. Discoveries usually lead to new industries, and new industries almost always lead to new jobs. Even if AI can do a lot of the work, it won't be able to initially do all of the work in those new industries. So expect people to be needed, and it's probably going to be quite high-paying jobs. And an example here, this is not necessarily AI related, although it's starting to become one. Like we saw last week with the SpaceX IPO, how we're starting to see the birth of a new industry, which is like orbital data centers. Now, if Elon is even partially right about timing and so forth, a lot of GDP will be created from that. And usually there's always like, you can even model stuff like, I don't know, revenue of a company and what are the ranges in terms of revenue per employee. And usually you see as companies grow that you do even for companies that have a lot of revenue per employee, you don't have like unlimited revenue per employee. You kind of have to hire people after a while, right? Maybe if you're a fund or whatever, you can have extremely high multiples like that. But like for regular companies, it will be maybe in the millions per employee. But like if your revenue grows up exponentially, you will have to hire exponentially as well. And all the frontier labs are hiring. They have more revenue per employee than Google, but it's not much more. Maybe it's 2x, 3x more. And they are hiring and hiring and hiring. And eventually they will probably reach a point where yeah, there's like, I don't know, 5 million per employee or whatever. And then as you grow, you keep adding people because you do need people, maybe in multiple countries, maybe whatever. They now have the forward deployed engineers and like stuff like that. There are new job titles coming up and so forth. So I do expect that to happen. I expect that AI leads to a lot of new discoveries. Discoveries lead to industries. New industry lead to, we need an accountant, we need whatever, we need a legal person, we need, and so forth, right? So yeah, that's a scenario that I think is very plausible. There are other scenarios as well, but they involve speeds that are way faster in terms of how capable AI becomes in a very short amount of time, right? You kind of need it to become super intelligent in like a very short amount of time. Might take a few years to get there, and even then, then you have like extreme abundance, and you don't have to worry about jobs anymore. So yeah.
A very interesting perspective. Yeah, I mean, you see like the CEO of Anthropic and OpenAI, them backtracking on the job situation. They were fear mongering quite a bit. Now they're starting to come back, and yeah, I guess it like you said, it's a very complicated argument. But I like that perspective. I never really thought about that before, but it's true that the pace at which like new industries and new discoveries that are going to be made is going to be like so exponentially faster. And that historically, whenever that happens, like new industries lead to new jobs that we haven't even thought of. So yeah, I definitely like that perspective. Yeah, let's see where everything goes. Any last thoughts, Chris, before we wrap up?
Not really. I think that's definitely true. And you already see it, right? There's like data curation type jobs that are kind of popping up where you just go in and you just manually check, is the AI's output correct? Is it human? Kind of, is it, does it make sense? The chain of reasoning makes sense. So there's no reason why that wouldn't be the case. But yeah, I mean, will be interesting to see radical change and to see how people kind of adapt to it. I don't know if there will ever be or has ever been like a technological change in the history of the humanity that's going to probably be as significant, right? So
yeah,
it's a strange time to be around.
Strange but interesting. It's definitely going to be one of the most interesting times to be alive in history. So yeah, I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited for everything that we're rolling out on our end. So yes, everybody stay tuned. Go check out the new app.superseed.xyz. Go play with it. Go test it out. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear it. We iterate and we work fast now that we have this foundation in place. So we definitely want to hear your feedback. If you've got any good suggestions, throw it our way so that we can implement what we can. So yeah, exciting times ahead. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. Expect a little bit more of a split in content coming up, but follow us for everything as far as like DeFi and stuff from Superseed, and follow our Lobsters account and our personal accounts for more AI related stuff, and a very exciting platform coming up. So yeah, thanks Chris. Thanks David for hopping on today. Appreciate it. We'll see everybody.
Thank you. See you. Cheers.
Cheers.